You're watching Fanboy Versus with your hosts, J.D. Church, Chris McFeely, and Chris Triplett.
And you are listening to Fanboy Versus. I am your host, JD, joined by Nicole. Hey, Nicole.
Hello.
Chris Triplett.
Hey.
And Chris McFeely.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
So, it is Fanboy Versus Fear itself.
Yes!
Woohoo! We finally made it. It is event time. It is that time to start buying the big event comics for the summer, and we are starting off with Fear itself, so we will be talking about that near the end of the show. That doesn't mean that we don't have a jam-packed show full of really awesome comics this week, so I'm excited. It's going to be
fun.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good stuff. So, we'll start with news. There's just a little bit of news, not a lot of bit. But run it down for us, McFeely. What do we got?
Well, Deadpool's got a director, so that's a thing that happened. But I have to be honest with you,
Does it have a main actor still, or?
Well, it's supposed to be Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds keeps talking about it, you know. Anyway, it's not that I actually know who the guy is or anything. His name is Tim Miller. He was the X-Men effects artist. It's his directorial debut, as a matter of fact.
Why does that? Well, I don't know. You know, it makes me nervous, but then I have to think, like, Jon Favreau directed, like, Zathura and then did Iron Man. So, you know, it could work. I'm not sure about Marvel letting a new director helm their movie, but I guess
it's Deadpool. I don't think they care.
No.
It couldn't turn out any worse than Wolverine Origins did, so.
No.
Very true.
Expected to star Ryan Reynolds with an R-rated screenplay by the writers of Zombieland that the producer, Lauren Schuler Donner, insists is staying true to its comic roots with Deadpool breaking the fourth wall. It has been described as a total reboot. That they're just going to pretend Wolverine Origins didn't happen, or mock it, which they could actually do.
I could totally see them mocking it. That would be excellent.
Yeah, I think that would be the way to go.
That would be very Deadpool fashion. So, nice.
What else happened? We got confirmation this week of the second Captain America series that we heard word of out of C2E2. Captain America set to follow the method that Iron Man followed and which Thor is about to follow starting this month, where a new #1 series launches to coincide with the film, and the pre-existing series becomes something else. Thor is turning into Journey into Mystery, first issue next week. Looking forward to it, with the Mighty Thor launching new. So now I'm not sure what the new Captain America series is going to be called offhand. I don't know if we have a title or a creative team for that yet. But the pre-existing Captain America series is going to turn into Captain America and Bucky, apparently set during the war, which seems short for this world.
Yeah, I don't. For some reason, I don't see that lasting. I don't know why.
Man, I remember Captain America, Sentinel Liberty, and that was a great book for 12 issues.
I think it was a great book for about 6 of those 12 issues. Or the issue with Dino Manelli fighting MODOK?
When I said great, I just emphasizing the numbers.
It was a readable comic for about 6 of those 12 issues.
MODOK is so underused in the comic, but he's great for animation.
Speaking of animation, that's another bit of news that we got this week, was that Australia got the new episodes of The Avengers. I don't know if you guys have seen them or not.
No.
Damn.
I did not know this. Barricade64 just mentioned it in the chat. I'm like, what?
So all I care is, when do we get them?
Yeah.
I'm sick of waiting.
Well, yeah, it was picked up from where, on Monday actually, just picked up from where the American broadcast had left off, and they've been airing them daily. So, in fact, there are only 2 episodes left due to air on Monday and Tuesday.
Wow.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So
you guys haven't seen any of them then?
No, I'm actually waiting for the broadcast. I'm not too worried about.
I like watching them on my big screen. I don't like.
Well,
I
would
still
have
watch them on my big screen, even if it's download. But yeah.
What are you saying, JD? What are you saying?
I'm saying I got ways. My system.
You got ways.
My system. I got ways
too. It's a cable.
I had Tron 2 weeks ago. Anyway, no, I didn't. Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, yeah.
No,
So that's something that happened. So if you haven't seen those, they're out there in the world now, including but not limited to an Ultron two-parter.
Nice. Which we've been kind of waiting on now. I mean, that was
We had Dark Elves, we had an Ultron two-parter, and we had the beginnings of the finale for the show. Masters of Evil, Asgardian stuff, Loki making his move. It's all
For some reason, I was thinking they were going to save Ultron for next season.
I did too. I really did, just because that means they've done everybody and everything in one season. I mean, I would presume that they'll be able to, without giving it away for anybody who hasn't seen it, just with Ultron, they don't really get into the aspects that really make Ultron, his crazy Oedipal complex and all the rest of it. So I think that's the sort of stuff that'll probably come out in Season 2 if and when the Vision comes into it, which I think that probably happen in Season 2 now that we have Ultron. That's probably something that we can expect from the second season.
Well, and especially with Ultron, I mean, the great thing is that character never goes away.
Truly.
He always comes back.
And we wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
Well, that happened this week. What else happened this week? Did anything else happen this week?
Maybe not.
Anybody here? Oh, I'll tell you what we got. I'll tell you what happened. Fantastic Four, FF #1 top-selling book for the month of March.
Nice.
Awesome.
Very solid. We helped.
I like to think I had something to do with
That's
that.
right. For that, this show and the 3 extra copies plus ours that we sold. Oh yeah.
I stole mine from a brother.
Man, I don't know if you deserve comics anymore after what you did to that one last week. Jeez.
That was the worst piece of crap. Oh my
Crazy. I'm
God.
telling you, if you
I
did
wanna
not...
go to
I cannot promise to our listeners that anything like that will occur this week.
No. I
See
had
that
a good
again.
week this week. I had a good week this week.
It took me a little while. I finally got the video up, posted. If you have not seen the video from last week's show, I will just tell you that you are missing out.
Fantastic.
I butchered the Butcher Baker.
Yeah, you did.
It's not scripted at all. It was just on the fly.
Not even. Look at the look of shock on my face when it happens.
Well,
It's priceless.
you guys have never destroyed a comic book. Never.
No. Oh God, no. It's like
It was physically painful.
I get
comics.
nervous when I've got tea or something near my comics. I'm like, I can't.
I buried some comics in a box somewhere and pretended
them in
that I don't
plastic
own
bags.
them.
Yeah.
But I've never destroyed a comic.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's cool and all. I understand. It's cool. If you're upset with
crap. It was utter crap.
You work for the post office. We understand. It's cool.
I'd be interested in seeing how many people decided to pick that up.
I know. That's like, what
Like,
is this insurgence of sales from this comic? I don't understand. So, anything else? I don't think there's a couple teasers for X-Men. There's the English version of the X-Men First Class film, not the comic. No, who cares about the comic? And I think there's a teaser image for Smallville or something. So anyway, there's a couple things, but nothing that we'll talk about too major.
Barricade in the chat says J.K. Simmons is voicing Jade Jameson in Ultimate Spidey. Is this true?
Oh yes. I forgot
That's
about
awesome if that's true.
That'd be cool. They'll give him something else to do other than those occasional appearances on Law and Order,
Simpsons.
and then those Farmers commercials.
Closer. I think he's still on Closer.
Oh, is it Closer? He's on Closer as well.
But the Closer,
So,
this is his final season.
yeah. So
Is it? Oh.
He needs things to do, right?
Yes,
So,
he does.
Anyway,
I hope he translates to animation as well as he did in real life.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, and he's done like a voiceover for one of their farmers commercials. He did pretty good. So, he's a good actor.
He's in Portal, isn't he? Isn't he in Portal 2?
He might be.
I think so. Is that the guy that's in it? I can't remember. I don't know.
Oh.
That's
Anyway,
a video game, not a comic book.
No, but that's very similar
That's another
to
podcast.
Yeah.
animation. Yeah, that's a new Soundwave kind of deal. So yeah.
I don't know if this is something they have announced Zod to play the actor to play Zod in Superman. Michael
What?
Shannon.
Why?
Did you?
Why?
Huh?
Why
McFeely,
Zod?
did you just spit at the
Why do
mention
we-
of Zod?
May have done.
Why Zod? I mean,
Can't believe they're doing Zod again.
so
Let the
overused.
Donner movies be.
Where's my Brainiac? I just want
Where
Brainiac.
the fuck is my Brainiac? I'm gonna swear on that one.
Yes.
Seriously, guys, let Donner be. It's not like we just had like 2 years of Zod out of Smallville.
Yeah.
People just leave it. Do something new. You just
Hell, I would-
created
I
the
would
first
take,
Donner movie with Superman Reborn Returns. This is supposed to be a fresh new start and you're gonna do the second Donner movie again. Yeah, okay, you might do a completely different story, but really, is it the best? Look, I know Superman has got a shit rogues gallery. He does. But seriously, Zod, again.
Yeah.
God,
So-
I'd take Lex Luthor again if it just meant we got Brainiac. They could team up. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would actively welcome Lex Luthor to be in the film again if Brainiac was going to be in it, and we could get the Luthor Brainiac team.
Yeah.
But
I think this just typifies how much Superman sucks. I'm just telling you.
you can
It's like-
tell a lot about a hero by the quality of his villain.
Yeah.
But the
and
sad thing is, JD, you'll be watching Smallville next Friday because it's premiering.
Yeah, I know I will. And, and
I'll watch that too.
I cannot, and I have such like a fanboy hard on for Booster coming up. I'm just like I can't even. I'm so excited about that. I just can't even tell you. I hate that I'm really excited about a Superman episode, but it's Booster, so I'm just like it's okay. It's Booster. That's why
Yep.
I'm excited. So comic book happened this week.
Comic book.
Yeah, I think we should talk about them. What do you guys think?
Yeah, lots of good
Sure.
stuff.
So,
Good stuff.
Triplet. You're gonna start us off, sir. I'm very
Yeah,
excited about
I
one of
read
the
next to
things.
nothing.
I heard about that. I heard
mean-
that you had next to nothing. So you had all these comics last week, and we had
Yeah.
none, and now you have none, and we have
I
a
know.
bunch.
Yeah,
So.
that's the way it is. I did read Brightest Day, so I figured we were going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
Brightest Day.
I really am sad that I dropped this series.
I'm
when I
telling
did.
you, this comic. If you've not been reading Brightest Day,
Well,
what
I
a
dropped it like
left
at
turn.
16 because it was so slow, and then like number 17 is when it picked up.
but I mean,
This is like what? There's one more issue, right?
yes.
After
Yep.
This. So yeah, of course things are going to be picking up in this issue. It's the issue before the last issue.
But
Yeah, but
left
there's picking
turn.
up, and there's dude. What the hell?
I mean, just
Exactly.
left turn, just into nowhere, just like whoa. Anyway, go ahead, Triple. I'll let you.
Let's see. So basically, let's see. The last thing we got was Firestorm had reclaimed the White Lantern, and he's been sort of called by the White Light, Dead Man combination guy to come to the Star City Forest. And we basically find out that all those characters that's been put through their trials, the Hawks, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, let's see, that's it.
That's
Yeah,
everybody. Yeah.
in Firestorm have you passed their tests and whatnot, and they weren't killed. They're actually we found out that they're kind of the guardians of the Earth or something. And when they like showed up and they're like all in these forms, because they all get these forms now, like Martian Manhunter is like made of Earth, and the Hawks are made of wind and like a storm or something, and Aquaman of course is made of water, because where else you gonna put him? He lives in the ocean, and Firestorm is fire. So when I saw this for a minute, I thought they're gonna start a band. and they're going to
Earth, Wind, Fire, and the Martian Manhunt.
And you think, okay, well, that's crazy. Okay, things can't get any worse, can't get any crazier, and then we start getting like Dawn. What's her name? Dove. Dove shows up. She's been transported to the forest, and Captain Boomerang's being called because we can't forget Captain Boomerang's got to throw his boomerang.
Yeah, these are the last two who haven't done their thing that they have to do.
Did Jade do something? I don't know what her thing was.
Hawk has to catch it, don't he? Is it Hawk that has to catch it or something?
Hawk has to catch it, yeah.
I don't know, something. But so that's going on. And
but let me stop right there. Keep in mind, like, with this elements thing, like, that's a crazy sort of deal, but it's not crazy enough because they put it on the cover. So it's not like...
Yeah.
It's not like that was the thing that was going to blow you away. Yeah. That's coming in a minute.
Yeah, I picked it up and I was like, oh, so they just decided to blow that on the cover, did they?
Yeah, but that turned out to be...
It's like, that's not even the craziest thing to come out of this issue. Like.
So like, all this is going on, and then something... Okay, everything's centered around the forest and Star City. Apparently the forest and Star City is the place to be. And this thing comes to attack the city, or the forest, and it's a giant swamp thing!
Yes, it is!
Hell?
Nice.
Black Lantern Swamp Thing, 2-page spread, top to bottom. Hold it to the side, just like your favorite Playboy. Holy hell!
Okay, where the hell did Swamp Thing come into this? I mean, did I miss an issue of Brightest Day? Because I don't remember Swamp Thing showing up.
No.
I don't even remember Swamp Thing in Blackest Night. Was he in it?
No.
I genuinely don't know.
No, he wasn't. Nope, nowhere.
I mean, it's like, I can see what they're doing, but there was not even the vaguest hint of a notion that that's what this was going to be about.
No.
By the way, Swamp Thing.
Oh my god! As soon as I saw that, I thought, oh my god, it's Swamp Thing, and he is amazing. Oh my god!
He's enormous, for one.
I'd pause for a second to go, is that Swamp Thing?
I had to do a double take when I saw it. I was like, maybe the artist just really likes Swamp Thing, and that's their inspiration for the evil.
How can you not like Swamp Thing? How can you not like Swamp Thing? Come on.
But this Swamp Thing is awesome because he has these like undead tendrils that grab things that are alive and like suck the life out of them.
Yeah.
So he's like grabbing random people and deer and stuff. Holy crap!
He's trying to get to the tree, tree right in the middle of the forest,
which turns out to be not just any tree.
Yeah. Oh God! What tree?
What do they call it? It's the tree of the. It all goes back to the Alan Moore stuff.
See, I need to read the Alan Moore stuff. I haven't read the Alan Moore stuff, so it was like lost on me. The significance.
God, what do they call it?
The tree is the Parliament of Trees.
Yes, it is.
This is massively Alan Moore based. Swamp Thing was originally in the original Swamp Thing adventures before Alan Moore came on. Swamp Thing had your standard adventure, as anyone who's seen like the Feldons or the terrible cartoon from the 90s would know.
Swamp Thing is amazing. Chris McFeely, he's amazing.
He was the scientist named Alec Holland who had the very standard swamp monster origin of falling into the swamp after being injected or drinking potion
or whatever. Like doused with chemicals or something.
Whatever,
some sort of random
and on fire, and he turned into a swamp monster. But then Alan Moore came along and revealed that no, actually, Swamp Thing was was the Earth Elemental, which are these mystical beings created.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Created whenever like fire, earth, air, and water are all present at the moment of a being's death, and that he was actually an entirely plant-based entity that had just happened to absorb the memories of Alec Holland, the scientist. And that in the course of his stories, he also introduced the Parliament of Trees, which was the group name for Earth Elementals past. That's what they called themselves. They were the Parliament of Trees, who dwelled in this mystical realm known as the Green. And there's the reference here to the Green becoming the Black. And so this is Swamp Thing, because Swamp Thing was never technically alive, I suppose. So I don't know when we last saw Swamp Thing. So I don't know if he died or.
And they mentioned that
like
it's Swamp Thing, but there's like someone else in control.
Yeah, someone else's memories are in control.
It's someone else's memories that are in there, and that leads us to the four new elemental guys. Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, and Hawks and Firestorm.
Because there is no elemental anymore, because Swamp Thing is gone. So now we have four new ones, one representing each of the elements.
And so they're fighting it, and as they're fighting it, the white light reveals that the reason that everybody's there is they got to guard the tree, because resting at the bottom of the tree is the body of Earth's savior,
the champion that the whole series has been building.
The whole champion.
Yeah. And it turns out that is Alec Holland, Earth's ultimate savior.
And if you don't know anything about Swamp Thing, you're just shrugging and going "who" when that is explained.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I
remember his name. I remember his name, and that's about it.
As soon as they revealed that the Swamp Thing was there, I was like, is the champion going to be Alec Holland?
So Alec Holland it got to be what, the White Lantern? I mean, who else is going to be? It's got to be
the champion.
Yeah, he'll be the new champion.
The next issue is tagged "Return of Swamp Thing," and there was actually a rumor going around for a while back there that Swamp Thing was going to be making a return.
So going to get a Swamp Thing that's like White Lantern looking. I hope so. I hope he's just all like White Lantern costume with the Swamp Thing face and everything.
That'd be kind of awesome. I would say probably what's going to happen is that Swamp Thing and Alec Holland will merge in some way, and we'll get a pre-crisis style Alec Holland that is Swamp Thing, rather than Alec Holland, rather than a Swamp Thing that just thinks it's Alec Holland style thing.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Everything from before the 80s, so that'll be the way.
So they're gonna pay homage to all the awesome Alan Moore stuff and then undo it.
Yeah. So here's the next question: are we getting a Swamp Thing comic now? Another one?
I think so. Yeah, I believe I heard that.
Is Jeff Johns writing it?
If he is, I'll buy it.
Yeah, if he is, hands down. If he's not, I might look at it. But wow,
is Alan Moore writing it? Are they going to get Alan Moore to come back?
Totally.
Yeah,
I doubt it somehow.
But just wow. I mean, just left field. Who knew?
Dang it! I really missed out on this.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, wait for the trade.
But it just just reading that was just I can't. What? And it's what? Awesome. I mean, that's what you're looking for right there.
Would it have killed you to just explain this to everybody, you little bastard ring?
Yeah. It
might have got somewhere faster.
The White Lantern ring does
done before the giant undead plant monsters started attacking the world. If you just told everybody what they were supposed to do.
I want to know, why did the giant black plant monsters just now, in almost the last issue, start attacking? Where was it back in issue 5 or something?
Well, I guess things have been only building up to this. I mean, this is something I think we said last issue, which was the idea that the Earth had suddenly gone crazy and was turning on itself. That was introduced to us by people telling us that it was happening last issue, rather than actually showing us that it was occurring in any way.
Right.
And so here we're just getting the fall. So obviously, whatever I would hope the ring is still being just oblique enough to be fucking annoying. So next issue, we will actually get the full and proper explanation. But I'm guessing probably just that. So
are we going to get anything big for? Anything going to be bigger than that for the last issue? I mean, freaking Swamp Thing. I mean, I can't see nothing topping that at this point.
I can't imagine it.
I don't know. I mean, we've got a couple of other Brightest Day pieces of puzzles to fill in as far as tie-ins go.
But there's only one issue left, right?
Well, there's 2 issues of Gen Lost left. And
that's really its own thing at this stage.
But it's supposed to tie back into this. I mean, what they had, Captain Atom was even in this issue. So, and Jade. So, I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah, Brightest Day. That's what I read.
Good stuff. That's it?
Yeah. Well, I read Captain America something .1. I don't remember what number it was,
I'm
but
sorry.
it was okay.
Okay.
Was it in
That was
any
last
way a
week.
respectable? Was it in any? Just out of curiosity, because I genuinely don't know this. Was it in any way a respectable .1? Did it fall between a story arc, or was it between two parts of an ongoing story?
I'm so far behind on Captain America that I figured, hey, I can probably read this and I'll be okay if it is a .1 comic, because that's the point of it.
That's the wrong way. Yeah.
So I read it, and I don't know if it's in between a story or not, because it's basically just a standalone story. It's awesome because like Steve Rogers hasn't been in Captain America for a while, right? It's been Bucky. Is that my understanding? He's still Cap at this point?
They've both been in it, but Bucky is still Cap, yeah.
Well, Bucky's not in this issue, which is kind of awesome.
Oh.
So Steve Rogers is the Cap. Well, he's not Cap, but he's in it.
Oh.
And just real quick, the issue is basically about this organization wants to make the next Captain America, because they say something in it that Bucky's in legal problems or something. I don't know if he's been arrested or something.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
what's happening right now.
I'm so far behind. I need to read.
He's on trial for the Winter Soldier crimes and stuff, I think. Isn't he?
Okay.
Because Baron Zemo revealed to the world that he was the Winter Soldier. Yeah. Sorry, brain fart. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, I need to read him because I didn't know that. So I was good with that because it doesn't really matter too much in the story. But so this group recreates Captain America. Just takes like a soldier from today who's decorated and a good boy and whatnot, and he make him Captain America. And so this dude is premiering as Captain America, and then like Steve doesn't like it because it's yet another guy that's probably either going to die or go crazy or do something bad, with the costume on. And so this dude, he sucks because he gets captured by AIM. Like, he goes back to, like, get another treatment for his superpowers, and AIM just captures him. Not just captures him, they want to turn him into a new MODOK. What the hell? He's going to be a new MODOK.
Wow.
So, Steve has to save him and basically convince the guy that, hey, you're not going to do it anymore. I'm, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever. I can put you in jail. So he says, don't do it no more. And the dude's, convinced that somebody has to be Cap, takes the mask off, and he says, if I'm not going to be Cap, then who will be? And so it kind of leaves the idea that, hey, we're pushing in the direction that Steve's going to be Captain America again.
Obviously, that'll be whatever the new Captain America comic is. That'll be.
And it turns out that this is yet another story to show why Nick Fury is a dick. Because this was all orchestrated by Nick Fury. He was the guy that set this guy up to give him powers and everything. And at the end of this, Sharon Carter figures it out. And that, it was Nick Fury all along. And that he did it because eventually Cap's going to have to make a choice. We all know he's got to be Cap again, and so they don't tell Cap. So this is like just pushing Cap in that direction that hey, he needs to be Captain America again, which kind of goes along with Fear itself, which we'll get to later in the show.
Very nice. Nicole, then.
Oh yeah, I forgot you only had the one.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, it was one and a half. It was 1.1.
That's
it was
true.
a 0.1 comic.
Okay, well, I'll start off with the one that's going to just be a really quick review. It's The Weird Worlds #4. It's the story of the three heroes into short stories. And we start off with everyone's favorite bounty hunter, Lobo. Him and his...
Not my favorite.
Someone's
how can you not like Lobo?
What's wrong with Lobo?
I didn't say it wasn't my favorite.
Oh, I like him. Well, him and his buddy Slang, they're escaping from the ship of the Fubarian Emperor. I love saying that, Fubarian. But the thing is, Lobo wants to go collect his money still, even though the person he's trying to collect from is dead. So they go back to the ship, try to invade it, but then they come across this little trap. They're organic parasite control. So anything that's on the ship that's not supposed to be there, these little creatures come and eat it, including them. So they're having to fight off these little parasites, and basically that's the whole story, is them. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of dialogue. This whole comic book is just fighting. And so they finally get on the ship, and it comes to find out the little parasites. Now, this is a big spoiler. So the parasites are somewhat of Slang's offspring. So that is the end of that little short story. Again, it's a bunch of pages with no dialogue, just a bunch of fighting scenes. But then we get to a Garbage Man. The last time we met up with Garbage Man, he was fighting a werewolf. Well, he was meeting up with a werewolf. Yes, I know. So this story with Garbage Man, if you like Swamp Thing, you guys would like Garbage Man. It's basically.
Is he literally made of garbage, or is he just like a dude dressed in garbage?
Well, see, that's a good thing about this little short story. It kind of gives you a little more insight about how he works, because he's fighting the werewolf, and the werewolf actually tears his arm off, and then he is actually able to feel pain this time. Before, when he was getting hit with bullets, he was not able to feel any kind of pain. But he comes to find out this creature is another one of the doctor's experiments that has escaped the laboratory. So that's why he could feel pain from him. Well, he loses his arm from the werewolf, and then he runs off just so he doesn't have to combat him with just one arm. Then he comes to find out that he could actually process anything. He could regenerate as long as there's material around. So if it's organic, he could regenerate from it.
And
So
it'd be awesome if like he lost his hands, or you could replace them with like toilet paper, you know. If he was made of garbage, I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
so-
don't know.
So you kind of see that he actually does feel pain, and that he actually feels the pain when it's regenerating as well. Well, he later on comes across the werewolf again, who's eaten his arm. Well, he's toxic to the werewolf, and so he's got some kind of a nasty look to him. Let me see if I can find that picture. Yeah, so the werewolf is kind of melting. So, yeah. And then, of course, we had our two little hunters in the woods that are witnessing this, and they're debating whether to try to capture these creatures or run away. Well, they're smart, and they took off. As for Garbage Man, he took off too. He doesn't want to come across another creature, so he goes back and he waits for his train once again. He wants to get into Gotham City, and so that's where he met up with his werewolf last time, was waiting for the train. And then our third character is Tanga. She's, again, another fighting, as she's fighting the monster. Last time we left her, she was like, oh yeah, I'm a superhero, I could fight this guy. Well, she tries to take the really girly approach out. I mean, she gets hit by this thing. She's like, okay, no. She gives it a name. She gives this creature the name Bob, because everything's named Bob. And she tries to act like it's her pet. So that she tries to teach Bob to behave. Well, it's not working. And she has to discipline him to the point where she kills him. I know, it's sad. She doesn't like doing that. But everyone considers her a hero, and they make her goddess or their leader. And she's like, no, I don't want that. I just want someone to talk to and get drunk with. You know? She's like, I don't want any of this prestigious stuff. And they just keep on going on how they want to have her as their leader. And then all of a sudden, the very last panel, you just see a gun up to her head. So she's not liking that either. Wow. But it's just fun. Again, it's a really quick one. All three of them are just, the stories were just them fighting and moving on to moving the story up. So there's your Weird Worlds. Nice. My next one, McFeely has to go away for, because I will spoil this. Okay, so my next one is Infestation. This is the last of the series. So yeah, McFeely doesn't want to hear this. So this story brings back all four of the universes. So you got Ghostbusters, Star Trek, Transformers, and G.I. Joe. So at the very beginning of Infestation, they're in New Mexico when all hell breaks loose. Well, they're back in New Mexico, and they're showing that all of Bree's accountances are coming together into one, into the, oh my gosh, why can't I think of it? The Undermined, sorry. So they find Bree on the floor, and she is still somewhat alive, but she's getting regenerated, which comes to this wonderful 2-page panel where I don't know if you can see that or not.
Whoa.
You can see all of her different personas, and it's awesome.
Put that back up there again. I didn't see it. Let me see it real quick. Oh,
Can you see
okay.
that?
I see it.
So, yeah, that right there is some wonderful, wonderful art alone. I mean, again, it's got, melting stave puff. How can you not like that? But when they found debris on the floor, and all of a sudden they hear all these planes come by, unfortunately, someone set off an alarm that there is something major going on, and so they bring in the attack squad, and the plant is blown to shreds. Well, that doesn't help because the zombies are still around. They have no fortress, and so everything is going crazy here. And Bree's getting to be too powerful. She's not knowing who she is, and so they need to come up with a plan to take her over but not hurt her. So her companion named Cross, he's a vampire. And so he decides to take the ultimate sacrifice and change himself like Bree did. Now Britt is half vampire, half zombie. So he takes the challenge on getting bit so he could go combat to combat with her, head to head, full force to, try to save her and everyone else. Well, needless to say, that goes on, but it's too late. Britt, why do I want to call her Bree? Britt has already summoned the Undermine, and let me show you this. There's some wonderful art in here. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that? I don't know. If you could take a look really close, his teeth are made of skulls, and the brain is made of human bodies.
Wow.
Yeah, it's some amazing artwork. Well, needless to say, in the end, it's the battle between Cross and Britt. And she says it's too late, and he basically sacrifices himself to save everyone. And then when everything's gone, everyone's back to normal. All the zombies are cleared. So anyone that's been infested is no longer infested. So there's no more infestation, but Cross is missing. So that's where you get to the very end, where you see Cross in the cemetery looking at his own grave. So that then brings us to the next series called Outbreak, where it continues on with Cross's situation. That's basically it in a nutshell. It's a wonderful story, first of all. The artwork was amazing. Like I said, the details just on the Undermine alone, the skulls and the bodies, and the look of Britt's different personas. Highly recommended this series. Like I said, I'm going to be getting on to the next series of Outbreak just to see what's going on with them. So
Nice.
There's a quick review.
Awesome.
We're done. Keely.
Keely can come back. Yay.
I am
You
back.
can come back.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you,
Quick
Nicole.
for you.
Excellent. Okay. So, we haven't asked this question in a while, but the question is, who is Jake Ellis?
Who is he, JD? Who is he?
Who
Tell
is
me.
he?
Well, I had missed issue
I
2. I
forgot.
finally got a hold of issue 2. And
Up.
and read that. So, just to fill in on what we missed, we figured out in the last issue that Jake Ellis is not our main character. Our main character's name is John. Jake Ellis is this sort of ghostly figure that he's attached to. What we know is that there was what they refer to as the facility, and that's where some sort of experimentation was done on John. Now, John seems to be under the impression that this Jake persona is just another aspect of his personality. But Jake's not convinced. Now, Jake doesn't have a lot of independence because he is basically around all the time. When John's asleep, when John's awake, it doesn't matter. And he doesn't even really know where the information that he has comes from. But he does have like visions of where to go, what to do, when to do things. And how to sort of guide John through things. But what we found out in the last issue as well is that John had been sort of working within the criminal realms, using his abilities to sort of work within the criminal world, but Jake was more interested in trying to figure out why they were the way they were, and basically wasn't really happy with the status quo. So he's the one that sort of got them almost caught, and got like this whole ball rolling where now everybody's looking for them, and everybody's trying to track them down. What Jake wants to do is to try to figure out what the facility is, what was done to them. Is he a separate person? Is he just an aspect of John's personality? And John really doesn't care. So, but John can't do what he can do without Jake. So he's sort of screwed at this point. He doesn't really have much choice to follow, what Jake is wanting him to do. So in this issue, they're trying to, they sort of formulated a plan to try to find some of the people that are after them. And, like Jake has this, is pretty cool. I mean, like I said, he sort of marked, they were in a club and they needed to get like a money and ID. And Jake was able to mark somebody that had money, had what they needed essentially, and guided John through, basically knocking him out, taking his stuff. One of the really weird things that happens in this issue is he sort of goes to, I guess would be like a pawn shop or an electronics shop, and that he knows is a supplier of illicit equipment. And initially he goes in and gives them a list of things that he needs, and the guy that has all this stuff comes out and tells him that they can't help him. And as Jake is sitting there, he says, tell him something, and it's in a foreign language. I don't know what it is. And so he says to the guy, and the guy just looks at him and then takes his money and brings out all the stuff for him. And neither of them know what the hell they said. Jake doesn't know what it means, nor does John. So, and they postulate maybe it's something that's in the recesses of his mind. But the hint that was made in issue 2 is that this is some sort of extended, like, remote viewing experimentation that was done. So, there is a question of, like, maybe Jake is a separate person that was fused into John, like, for the remote viewing purposes, and that's where all these abilities come from. So, anyway, there's a nice little spy moment in this where John makes a move like he's getting on a train, and then, basically completely shows his face to the cameras, and then, puts on a disguise and sneaks off of the train, and then waits for, at the next station, for everybody to show up to catch him, and then he's hiding out and manages to kidnap one of the guys and sort of question them. And again, through this whole process, like, Jake is telling him, like, how long to choke this guy to, like, torture him to get the information that they need. But they eventually put a tracker on him because they know this guy is working for whoever the facility is. They put a tracker on him and kick him out of the train, and now they're just going to track him basically and wait. So the first issue of the series was really interesting. The second issue is where it's picked up, and now it's definitely become one of those figure out what it's about, try to figure out, again, it's back to that question, who is Jake Ellis? Because he may be an aspect of the main character's personality. He may be someone completely separate. His motives are in question at this point.
I know. I loved the first issue.
Mm-hmm. It was good. It's good. The art is really interesting. It's in a very, it's very stylistic. So it's cool. I like it. I'm set now to get the rest of the issues from my shop. So very good.
I think that's one I might have to put on my list.
Yeah, definitely. Especially there's 2 more issues left. So
yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was only 5 or 7. But.
Yeah, it's 5 issues, so we're into 3. So, and last, now it is time for the Secret 6.
Woo!
It occurred to me, I had missed out on Osborn. I picked up Osborn, and it occurred to me that the 2 screwed up comics that I'm reading right now, the darkest screwed up comics, are Osborn and Secret 6, both written by women.
What does that tell you about females?
So, wow.
We're innocent.
Up,
We're innocent. Don't no.
Not after I read this. Gail Simone
There's nothing innocent here.
is twisted and awesome.
Wow. Can I tell you how much I love this series?
Oh my god.
I wish this would come out every 2 weeks instead of Transformers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. We pick up where we left off. With
In hell. As you do.
hell, like you do. And we find out that Ragdoll is now joined the secret 666, as he calls it.
Yes,
Which is tons of the undead demons and monsters and things that roam in hell. We get a good look at his friend.
Hey, as much as you don't want to.
Oh my god, he has like these tongue things for eyes and a mouth.
What's his name? Theus.
Theus, yes.
Tell me what it is you did that brought you here. I was an adulterer, Lord. Well, that hardly seems fair to be concise and simplified. And a mass murderer, and a wearer of shoes made of human leather, Lord Ragdoll of the Infernal Band. All right, you, but still. I also lied about my commitment to recycling.
That's the best. That had to be the one.
That's what I loved about this series so much. They just put random jokes in there.
Oh god.
I mean, I think that is what is truly. That's just the first instance of stuff like that is going to keep happening in this, which just proves that this is a very different sort of. I mean, last issue I called this the next Cats in the Cradle, and I think it is still because there's an even more explicit connection to Cats in the Cradle comes up later in the issue. But this one definitely has more of a sense of humor about itself than Cats in the Cradle did. But then that's because this is a somewhat more inherently ridiculous comic booky plot than Cats in the Cradle was.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, we figure out Ragdoll was bandaged up, I guess, after he got to hell, and he still has the card.
But he really liked their stitching that he did on him.
Yeah, he was really impressed with that, and they gave him his mask and everything. I don't even know where to go with this. There's a lot of talking initially here.
Yeah, there's mostly Ragdoll standing around telling them things.
Yeah, which is just fine because, Ragdoll is very awesome. Now, the best part is, though, they're telling him, like, okay, well, you're here, you're happy. Why don't you just give her the card and then we'll leave? And he's like, but I might want to use it later. And then, well, of course, who is the guy again? I can't remember his friend.
Parademon.
Stuff. Yes.
Parademon.
So he shows up.
Wasn't he going to use it to get Parademon out of hell? Wasn't that the point?
Well, I don't know.
He's there now, and he's liking it.
Yeah, but now that he's there,
he's changed his.
I really did. I never pictured hell being this much fun.
Well, this is just the fun part of hell.
This is just the doorway, really. I mean, it's not like,
This ocean of torsos and a river of blood. Less
yeah.
So the best, one of my favorite part of this is some of the Catman stuff. Not in particular because he's hanging out with Etrigan, but just because he just sneaks off with Etrigan. He's just like gone. He's just like, I got something else I want to do while I'm here.
While we're here.
Yeah, while we're here, exactly. So, I'm trying to figure out where to go with this because I don't want to just talk about all the talk.
No, it is just a lot of this issue is just a bunch of set pieces that it's rather hard to discuss.
We get one flash of this girl that's like being kidnapped and possibly raped or something. I don't know what's going to happen to this girl.
I think that goes back to, what is it, 2 or 3 issues ago?
Yeah.
Oh, it was just last issue we started. This is Scandal.
Last issue? Oh.
Yeah, just the start of last issue. This is Scandal's stripper girlfriend who's been captured by a stalker.
I know Gail Simone loves Ragdoll, and she talks a lot about how great Ragdoll is, and I think it's sort of catharsis for her to pull out stuff. But I think if you really pushed it to her, I really think that she definitely has the soft spot for Catman, because he ends up getting all the really awesome, like he ends up doing the really cool shit.
I mean, God, Catman was the reason that I got into Villains United when that comic came out because it was so badass.
And so much of that was an attempt at redeeming Catman as well after what Brad Meltzer had done to him during his Green Arrow run.
So at one point they come to this river and they go to cross the river and it's being defended by the demon
Paragon,
who also
is a rhymer as well. Oh, it's fucking awesome.
And what I love is basically Catman goes up and tells him, "Get the fuck out of my way."
What you are, Ace, but you really want to get out of my way.
This is awesome. So he starts a rhyming scheme, which is Cadaver's cow. If I let you through, my lady'd sore be pissed. Now, as he says this, Catman pulls two of his blades out from behind his cloak, stabs them into his gut, and then rips them X-wise out.
God.
Totally like eviscerating the guy. And then he comments, "You've killed my rhyme with blackish hue." At this point, Catman stabs him in the face and completes the rhyme with, "That's okay, I got the gist."
That is distilled Secret Six in one page.
Yes. Like,
Great.
just one page that just says why this is awesome. Anyway, so we find out that what Catman's actually doing is going to see his dad.
Figured as much.
Which is so fucked up because there's his dad, like, with a chain around his collar, tied to a tree with the little torn up Catman doll.
Well, he's completely naked, too.
Completely naked.
Yeah.
The Catman doll covering his
The
genitals.
Catman doll's covering up, the special bits.
So, wow.
That's why I call this the next Secret, the next Cats in the Cradle.
Yeah. There's the only other thing that one of the other things that I'll mention about this in particular is there's a comment. Ryan Dahl makes the comment that they'll all end up here sooner.
Oh, that's so good.
And nobody is. Some of them are kind of like, "Oh well, I knew, but I didn't really want to think about it."
I want to have to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the person that's really set back is Bane.
That is great.
Yeah,
Bane
he
is like,
honestly...
He's so confused.
He
He has
doesn't...
genuinely deluded himself into thinking that because he lives by some fanciful code of honor in the evil that he does, that'll somehow exempt him. And I can see this having really far-reaching consequences for the character just in this series.
I can't wait to see where they go with him. Just
He says
on
here,
those couple panels alone.
Yeah.
if I am truly damned, then what I do on Earth makes no difference.
Yeah,
I think if Bane is going to resign himself to that, we could see some big changes in Bane.
And that's the interesting thing, and this is why I love this series, is because this could be like a hero's redemption moment for some characters. They would be like, well, I'm going to dedicate myself to right or whatever. And you get the feeling this is going to go the other way, that he's just going to go ape shit.
In for a penny.
I mean, wow. Awesome stuff. So then they decide to fight the Hordes of Hell.
As you do.
As you do. And
you got one of my favorite lines is King Shark, how he tells everyone his name.
oh yeah, yes. Good choice for the name then.
hey there, fella. My name's King Shark. I'm a shark. Good choice for a name then.
And again, there's Gail Simone for you. Take a character that really, the only interesting thing he did is he sort of fought Superboy at the beginning of his career. And now it's like yet another member of the Secret Six that we're really interested in. Is Jeanette dead? What the hell?
She's probably okay.
I'm sure that she'll be fine.
Can you die in hell?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's the question.
Now, the only thing that I'll mention, I don't even know if I want to mention the end of this, but...
no, I would keep that one.
Nah,
I
ain't ready yet. Don't.
Yeah, I won't reveal that end. I can't...
It's awesome, and that's all I need to hear.
I can't say I should be surprised, but I was surprised.
I know! But I was!
I don't know why, but it was
I didn't twig for whatever reason. It's like, yeah, I should have figured that out, but I didn't.
Yeah, totally didn't. But it was awesome. So,
Does it have Swamp Thing in it? Because Swamp Thing's awesome.
No, it's not. It's not Swamp Thing. But
He's
I mean,
amazing.
this issue is very talky, but there's good stuff in there.
There's
So,
a lot of good stuff in
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why it's like I can't really go through and say everything just because there was too much good stuff. It's talky, but it's man.
And there's some very clever lines here.
Gail Simone just blows me away with the stuff that she comes up with. She is a dark and twisted woman, and she's awesome.
Puts out some good stuff.
Yes. Scary.
Like I said, I look forward to this every month. It's like, I need.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see the conclusion of this.
I get because you're not supposed to like these characters. These people are cruel and sadistic, but you love them.
McFeely nailed it. I mean, when you say that this is terrible people doing terrible things to each other, I mean, this issue typifies that more than, I mean, nothing says it better than this issue, essentially.
I mean, there's this bit we didn't even talk about here with Ragdoll, when he talks about why he won't go back. And he talks about how he came back from Scouthouse and he sat in front of his mirror to take his mask off, and he just found another mask underneath, and he kept doing it over and over again, and he came to the conclusion, perhaps you can understand what a terrible, vile thing this is for a man like me. I'm afraid I'm going sane.
Because he had I don't know, something with Alice. He had said that
it's been coming to this too, because it's like we've seen the little moments with him and Alice, like that great moment. I don't even remember what issue it was in now, where like he stopped acting crazy, stood up straight, and said, "Back off the girl."
Yeah.
Just completely, just cold and meaningfully. Yes. And it's like, this is where we've been going with this, But it's like you say, this typifies Secret Six. It's like he won't go back up because he says, I've stopped hearing the voices. He can't go back because if he goes back, he won't be Ragdoll anymore. He'll just be the poor, pathetic little Peter Merkel who just destroyed his body to try and be like his dad wanted him to be. Just this pathetic thing that he doesn't want to be. It's about how the terribleness of these people is who they are.
Yes.
Ragdoll doesn't want to be anything other than what he is, a terrible person who does terrible things, because he would rather be that than nothing.
Yeah.
So is he? Is that character going to be gone? You think? Maybe?
No. I think they'll
cancel the book if they get rid of Ragdoll.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Well, the best way to make you miss a character is to kind of take him out of play for a while. Do you think that's something that they could do?
Well, they may be paring it back down to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that happening, but what, 6 and
Well, we currently have 5 right now since Catman's off. Well, if you count Catman, you've got your 6 with Black Alice having pushed out and Ragdoll being on the other side. We do have 6 in play again.
Well, but she's not going to take Catman out. There's no way.
Nope.
So do you think it might be Bane going off in a different direction then?
Well, I think that this is definitely going to lead to some kind of conflict. I don't think Bane's going to go anywhere. Though, if nothing else, just because DC will want to keep Bane in play with the film.
Unless they are killing off Jeanette.
It does make me worry a little bit about what might happen.
I just like those 2 panels of him. He was in utter shock.
It was. I mean, it was really a brilliant moment where it's just like, I can't believe that this character is so confused. It was like...
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what did you really think? Like, did you really delude yourself? But I am a righteous man. He's like, he doesn't even, he's like just staring at his hands.
Yeah,
I'm very interested to see what happens as a consequence of this, because I don't see this being some little one-note plot point that's going to be neatly wrapped up with the third and final part of this story. That's something that's going to linger.
No.
When I was reading this whole thing, McFeely, I was like listening. I've pictured your Ragdoll voice the whole time.
Yeah, I can't not do that now.
If they ever animate Secret Six, I want you doing voice work.
We'll start a petition for you to do the whole show.
I would love to know. Somebody should ask Gail Simone if Ragdoll is supposed to be British, because he uses all those Britishisms in his voice. I don't know what nationality.
Someone get on Twitter and ask Gail Simone
I can't think of him anything else now. That's the voice for him.
That's the voice I hear. Is
Yeah.
Well, nice to
so
know
if
I'm
I
leaving
do a
the
show or
park.
anything, I'll be so sad to hear it's not his
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's me then. So that leaves you, McFeely.
Oh, okay. I'm just still flipping through Secret 6 there.
I know it's good stuff. The art is beautiful too. I don't want to put that aside at all. There's some great images of hell.
Just the
Not truly ghastly images of hell, though, which I kind of like. It's not somebody.
Yes.
It's not somebody just really indulging their baser instincts and just doing like drawing horrible things. You know, it's a much more.
You get the point of it with his little.
version.
Yeah, I mean, it's the rivers of blood, and it's reddish, and you know.
And it's like in every image where there is no background, it's just a big sea of floating skulls.
Skulls, yes. Love.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed Jim Calafiore on this book, and I'm just there's a lot of little great things hidden in the background. You know, it's like where's that page? Where King Shark? Where is it? I can't find it. There it is. Ragdoll tells everybody that they're his property, and King Shark just has this look on his head in the back of the banner. What?
I personally like the look of the 666.
Yeah,
on the
that
different
2-page
pictures and stuff. That is
great.
awesome.
It's like a lot of different creatures there, but nothing like really indulgent, like you know, like just like somebody else would draw. Your man with tentacles for eyes and a mouth is like that's
like,
horrible to look at, but it's not like he has a giant penis growing out of his forehead.
Yeah,
it's
it's
something
not like
really
the
some
visions
sort
of
of
hell
dark
in like
fantasy
Nancy
vision
and
of hell.
Like if anybody read Nancy in Hell, like that was indulgent.
Oh yeah, I never read that, but I yeah, exactly that sort of
like
thing.
that's the kind of stuff that it's like, oh yes, great.
Or
Guts and
Chronicles of
eyes.
Wormwood, if anybody read that, that's another example of one of those really indulgent.
The cover is awesome. I love this cover.
It's just an odd, demonic sort of.
Yeah, just like the odd one, though. Just
Yeah.
like. And why does Ragdoll have the Catman, Teddy?
I don't know, but it's kind of wacky.
Maybe he's the one that put it there.
Yeah, well, he just placed it just so.
Yeah.
Probably a shame.
Man, that must be like an awesome issue of Secret 6, because I stepped away for a second, and y'all are still talking about
Yeah.
it.
We were trying to get McFeely to pick up his first comic, and
Triple,
that
you've
failed.
got to go get it. You've got to go get it.
I've got it, I just haven't read it yet. I just
Oh,
don't have
okay.
time.
Yeah.
Sorry, I suck.
That's the first one I picked. The one out of all of them that I picked up, I'm like, this is the first one I read.
Well, I was
It's
so
always
interested in
the
Brightest
first
Day and Fear itself, and I knew we were going to talk about them. That I was like, I got to read these at least.
Mhm.
So I read those.
Okay, well, the first thing I've got is Avengers, the Children's Crusade. Yeah, we're coming back to this again. I have shied away from talking about this a little bit recently because so much of the first half of the series has been people standing around threatening to do something while they talk. And I talked about that rather good one-shot we had last month. But, wow, the shit hits the fan and gets splattered off the walls, and everybody is slipping in it and falling over and rolling around in it in this issue. Holy crap. Pardon my colorful metaphor. So this issue kicks off with Iron Lad coming out of the time stream. He made his surprise appearance in the on the last page of the fourth issue, and we found out why he's here in the one shot. And we just get treated to this fantastic double page spread of Jim Chung artwork. I mean, you know, that's what I've always said about this. Although the first couple of issues of this, first half of this, really have been people standing around a table talking about the possibility of doing something, it has always been very pretty looking, standing around talking. But this is it kicks off with this gorgeous double-page spread that you have no problem following at all. And this is with the Young Avengers. The Avengers are here. Dr. Doom is here. He's fighting Magneto. There's legions of Doombots. And Iron Lad has just flown into the fray as well. And it's just gorgeous, and it just reminds you why this guy is as good as he is, and that he should be doing more. But I think the bi-monthly schedule is probably the only one he's actually able to keep right now. So our heroes, well, Dr. Doom, Wiccan teleports the Scarlet Witch away. because they found the Scarlet. As per last issue, they found the Scarlet Witch. She's amnesiac and set to be married to Doctor Doom for not something Doom has engineered, we have found out, but something that she seems to have made happen herself. Wiccan's told her the story of everything that happened, but she doesn't believe him, which is fairly true because, what comic reader would?
So you went and you murdered the Avengers, and then you created an alternate world and all this and all that. Yeah, that's bull crap.
She's getting hung up on the fact that she's a witch. Never mind any of the rest of that.
Yeah.
But Iron Lad takes them back in time. And they're trying, believe it or not, to undo everything. They go back to the day of Avengers Disassembled. Oh. And they find... it starts out with that. They find Ant-Man, and then the corpse of the Jack of Hearts turns up, as he did at the start of Avengers Disassembled, to explode the mansion. But they get Ant-Man to run away. So, and this wonderful little exchange as well, where the Jack of Hearts sees the Scarlet Witch and asks her why she's doing this. Don't make me do this. And they look into each other's eyes. And then he explodes.
No.
Yes, as he does. They didn't manage to stop him exploding, so Avengers Disassembled still happened. But they only survived the explosion themselves by apparently time traveling. Iron Lad's dootering with his wrist gadget. And that when they reappear, they're in the Avengers Memorial Garden staring up at the statue of Ant-Man. And then Ant-Man asks, "Why is that statue of me up there?" What the hell? Lying lips?
All right. Now we got two
Nice.
Ant-Men.
They traveled back in time and brought back Scott Lang, and I really freaking hope he hangs around.
So does that mean we've got Ant-Man on Secret Avengers and an Ant-Man on New Avengers? That would be awesome.
That'd be kind of awesome. I mean, they've come back. They haven't. It's this rather is kind of where Heinberg failed to adhere. Watch out now, nerdery coming at you. Failed to adhere to the Marvel method of time travel with the first new Young Avengers story arc, because the way time travel works in the Marvel universe is that you can't alter history. Any alteration made to the timeline just results in a parallel universe, and you'll return to your own. That's how time travel works, but that's not how it was working in the first Young Avengers storyline. But this does appear to be how it has worked in this story, because they've traveled back, they've grabbed Ant-Man, and they've come back to their original timeline where he's still dead, and he's with them. So hurrah and huzzah, frankly.
Okay, so is this going to be... He's going to have to go back...
I swear to Christ, you better not.
You better not, yeah.
And I'll tell you for why, because I'm going to blow the last page surprise here. None of you guys are reading this, but anybody listening that don't want to get spoiled, don't listen to this. They say, Iron Lad says, "The last time I changed history, I stopped Wolverine from killing Billy," because that's what he thought was going to happen at the start of this issue, but it didn't. "My power levels still haven't recharged, so there's no way I could have brought us back here." And Patriot asks, "Well then, who did?" And then the voice from offside the panel goes, "I did. Because Wanda remembers."
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
This is some
Took me a while to look at that.
The Scarlet Witch has her memories back, and she remembers everything, and she doesn't seem to be bonkers.
Damn.
Talk about shit hitting the fan.
You make me want to read this book, McPhil.
I know.
Okay, this has gone up to 9 issues. I thought this was only 8 issues long, but I see it says 5 of 9 on the cover. I wonder if that's a typo or if it's actually up to 9 issues. I mean, we're still only about halfway through it. And, that's just the main story I'm relating to here. There's also great little moments in here as well. It's like Stature, Cassie Lang, Ant-Man's daughter, she and Iron Lad were starting to get a little cozy. And as a consequence, she has been essentially, not quite, but very, very close to, I don't think they've officially been a couple or anything. The Vision, the new Vision, is part of the Young Avengers because he is programmed with Iron Lad's brain patterns in the same way the original Vision was programmed with Wonder Man's brain patterns. And now it's like, hey, look, Iron Lad's back, and she's in his arms, huggy wuggy, and the Vision is like, dude, the fuck. keeping his mouth button shut, of course, as any good robot should, you know. Like, she's sitting there saying, "Oh, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done, Nathaniel, saving Billy, saving all of us." Then the Vision goes, "Yes, we're all very fortunate you showed up. How long will you be staying?"
Nice.
Nobody's picking up on it, though, because he has the biggest shit-eating grin plastered across his face when he says it, you know. But it's like, barring any unforeseen complications, I don't see why I couldn't rejoin the team permanently. Ah, bitch. But then it's like, he turns to a big grin on his head, and it's, "Speaking of wonderful news, now that Wanda Maximoff alive as well," he says to the Vision, "I suppose that means you're married." "What?" "Yes, well, according to my records, the Vision and the Scarlet Witch never actually divorced."
Now, explain something to me. Is this the same Vision, or is this like a different Vision? I've never understood that.
It's the remains of the original Vision, who is now programmed with the brain. He has all of the like the memories in the form of data that the original Vision had, but he has the mind and the personality of Iron Lad.
That sounds dangerous.
It does, Rob, but it's worked out okay, because it's like the Vision has the mind and personality of Wonder Man, and that was always the subject of like stories that explored them back in the early days, where it was basically like, yes, they were the same guy at one point, but they've each lived their own life and they've had their own experiences, and they are different people now. So
yeah, but,
it holds as much true for this as well.
Yeah, but Iron Lad is
he's Kane, and
he's Kane.
Like,
yeah, but he doesn't want to be Kane.
But that's
he's a Kane. He's a Kane that don't want to be Kane.
But this Kane could want this. He could want to be Kane. If people be stealing his girls and shit.
The real question is, does he want to be a Mortis? You know.
Well, even Kane doesn't want to be a Mortis. Look, that's very confusing. Let's not go there. But yeah, this is full of great stuff. Just gorgeous. Things are finally happening, like suddenly and violently and unexpectedly. You know, I mean, the Scarlet Witch's general story seems to have been on hold for like the last 4 years at Marvel, so this book could tell that story. And while I don't know that that was a very advised route to take, because it means, you know, people have just been asking, seriously, guys, what about the Scarlet Witch for like the last 4 or 5 years? Because it's just sat there with nobody thinking about trying to find her or trying to deal with the changes she's made to the world. It's finally, you know, if it truly was held off so that this book could do it, it's proving itself worthy of the wait. You know, it's got Doom in it as well, so that's always a plus.
It's got Doom,
gorgeous to look at, loads of stuff happening, unexpected twists, expected twists and unexpected twists, and just great little touches applied to things that we've already seen before. Definitely well worth the read, and an issue that has proved the value of the series overall, where previously it was just a load of pretty people standing around talking. Yeah, now let's see, what else do we have? I had a bunch of stuff this week, honestly.
This week was a good week for comics.
Yeah, it really
unlike
was.
Last week.
Yeah. The one I'm going to talk about is Greg Pak and Fred Van Lende's Hercules, or Hook, as it is now called. Now, I have only dipped in and out of the Incredible Hercules, never buying it properly. Hercules got his own series when he inherited it from the Hulk a couple of years back when they launched the Red Hulk series and with a new #1, and Hercules took over the Hulk's pre-existing series with about issue 111 or thereabouts, and he carried on from then, having it was a buddy comedy with the super smart teenager Amadeus Cho, fighting gods, monsters, and everything in between, culminating in a mini event called the Chaos War, which ran a couple of months ago, 5-issue miniseries, bi-weekly, a couple of months ago, in which Hercules gained the power of an All-Father to battle the Chaos King, a Japanese god who was intent on consuming all of reality and spoke only in haikus. Yes. Chaos War, just available in trade paperback a few weeks ago if you're interested in checking it out. Same creative team. And at the end of Chaos War, I got to tell you what happened at the end of Chaos War, so I can tell you about this issue. Hercules gave up all of his godly powers to restore the damage done to reality, and rather unexpectedly has become completely mortal for the first time in his life. And this series picks up where we left off, with Hercules completely mortal, but still trying to do the hero thing with an array of magical weaponry in Brooklyn. Fucking moths flying around me here. And it is now, if you have been a reader of Incredible Hercules, I know none of you guys have. Incredible Hercules was it did have a very comedic edge to it. It was a good book. It was a consistently strongly rated book. Not like it tore the sales charts up or anything, but always a consistently strong book. And it was, as I say, a buddy comedy with Amadeus Cho, where a lot of fun and silly and outrageous and sexy things would happen, because Hercules does love all of those things. Hercules loves beer, fighting, and women. Our Hercules.
Don't we all?
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Hercules loves them more than most.
God, it seems like a buddy comic between Herc and Thor would be awesome, because they like he likes
there was
that
one
thing.
storyline in which Hercules had to impersonate Thor.
Awesome.
The Mighty Thorcules. That's the name of the trade paperback. You can read it.
I need to buy.
wow.
So Hercules, unfortunately, Amadeus Cho is not in this book, so the buddy comedy element is gone. This is not as much of a comedy. I mean, there is humor in here, but it is a bit more of a... There have been I've seen a few comparisons thrown around comparing this to the Black Panther, where he did his recent riches to rags, slumming it around Hell's Kitchen approach. But whereas the Black Panther has just done that because he feels like it, Hercules actually has had a big change in his status quo that makes this concept a little bit more permissible. Even though he could probably knock on the door of the Avengers Mansion and go, "Have you a room?"
Oh yeah. There's always room at New Avengers.
Yeah. Instead, he is slumming around Brooklyn, and we open with Hercules on a train taking out a group of thugs from a gang called the Warhawks. What do we get? We got the sword of Peleus, with which he slices off one of their arms, the shield of Perseus, with which he knocks one of them out, and the arrows of Heracles, which can cleave all armor, natural or man-made, in which he just slices a gun directly into quite awesomely.
Nice.
Oh, cool. Well, it looks like the art's really good in it.
Yes, artistically, this is Neil Edwards, who we know from being the guy who wasn't Dale Eaglesham or Steve Epting on Hickman's Fantastic Four. Now, you know that I haven't had the nicest things to say about Neil Edwards from his Fantastic Four run, but this is actually good. This is good, because the faces look like proper comic book faces, instead of the really off-putting Brian Hitch light photo-referenced faces that he filled this Fantastic Four book with these really posed mid-howl faces that everybody kept making. This looks like a comic. Doesn't look like somebody trying to copy a photograph. I think he's done very well on here. I like the art on this. I approve. Hercules, we get our first proper look. He's entirely in a cloak while on the subway. And we get our first proper look at him where he has to take a scalpel and dig the bullet out of his shoulder that has wound it.
Ouch.
Yeah, and it's not like it's something he's too familiar with doing, because he is mortal now, you know. Just do it, you big mortal baby. Like, you never felt pain before. But even though he is immortal now, he is still being worshipped. And he can still hear the prayers of those who are worshipping him. So that's what's driving him to do these things in this area, because somewhere around here someone is beseeching him to help them, because, quote unquote, the worshippers of Ares are walking the land. And so he hears their prayers from afar, and he comes and he finds the altar where they've left beer and bread for him. And he just picks it up and just goes, "Best offering ever."
Nice.
So a lot of this issue is setting up his new status quo as well. So he is walking the streets of Brooklyn the following day. It is Brooklyn, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Pretty sure it is. And he saves a Greek restaurant owner from a leg breaker, essentially, who is here trying to buy up land for the kingpin. And as a consequence, he winds up with a job at the bar in the Greek restaurant. And within literally 5 minutes, has banged his co-worker.
Nice.
Oh my.
Because that is
Now, who wrote this?
this is written by Greg Pak and Fred Van Lente, who have been the consistent creative team on The Incredible Hercules. Fred Van Lente, we talk about on this show every now and then. He's currently writing Power Man and Iron Fist. He co-wrote a few of the Amazing Spider-Mans with Dan Slott. Very much from the same breed of writer as the Dan Slotts, the Jeff Parkers of this world. So definitely one I recommend. This creative team is going to be doing an Alpha Flight miniseries in a month or two as well. So I'm going to check that out as well. The guy who runs this Greek restaurant has the same real name as George Michael.
Wow.
I can't pronounce Greek, but Georgios Kairasios Panaiotou, that's his name. And he says, like, can you believe it? That's the real
Sounds
name
good.
of George Michael, the famous singer from Wham. I bet you didn't even know he was Greek, huh? It is news to me. And what do I call you? I am Hercules. And here I am going on about famous names.
Wow.
For some reason, the co-worker has a poster of Wham pinned up on the ceiling of her room. So that's what she's been looking up at while Hercules has been going to work.
Wham, nice.
Wow. Okay.
But it turns out she's mixed up with the Warhawks. She's got a tattoo, and he demands that she lead him to where they're meeting so that he can investigate like the most recent claims of his followers. Hey, but who's waiting for him? It's only the new Hobgoblin.
No way.
Totally, he's here because he's working for Fisk as per Amazing Spider-Man.
Right.
So he's here, and then he and Hercules mix it up. And it ends, of course, with your very standard comic book cliffhanger where the building collapses and Hercules is caught underneath it. He appears to be dead.
Isn't it nice when it feels like it's one universe that all sort of connects
Though,
together?
it is great. So, and then this is a $4 book. But there are only the standard 22 story pages. But you do get in the back the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8-page saga of Hercules that'll catch you up on the character's history.
So this is a mini.
Okay.
Well, that's cool.
Sorry?
So this is a mini series then.
No, this is a regular ongoing.
Oh,
series.
it's ongoing at $4, huh?
The first issue is $4. The next issue will be $3.
Oh.
As is the method we've seen from Marvel recently with things like FF and I'm sure a couple of other books offhand that I can't think of. But a very solid first issue that just introduces us to the new status quo. Gives in, as I say, not a massively comedic book anywhere. The loss of Amadeus Cho pains, because Cho is great. He is the 17th, is it the 17th or the 14th? Well, one of those two. The 17th smartest person in the world. So he constantly has mathematical formulas floating around his head, stuff like that. He can always figure out what to do.
Okay, I remember Amadeus Cho when I was buying. What happened to him? Is he dead?
No, he's fine.
Okay.
He's fine. He became the new Prince of Power for a while and then helped find Hercules and fixed everything up. He was basically the star of the Prince of Power miniseries, which came between Hercules' apparent death at the end of the Incredible Hercules and Chaos War, in which he came back. But it seems like Herc's new supporting cast will definitely fill in the comedic role. Basically, this guy gives Hercules a job in his bar because he finds out he's Greek.
Awesome. So would you recommend this book?
I absolutely would recommend this book. You got your whole new setup introduced in very short or very just like the way comics used to, It's a lot of this issue could be all setup, except then they managed to throw the Hobgoblin in there at the end and you get a great action sequence as well. A love interest is established, although quite where that'll go given her affiliations, it's hard to say. New supporting cast, comedic element, all of this, Hercules being mortal, the primary antagonist that seems like he'll be investigating, the idea that he's being worshipped by unseen people. There's a lot of stuff happening in here to put everything in motion in very short order. That means you can pretty much not have to worry about having read any Hercules before. You can just go straight in with this. And if you really feel the need to you've got your pocketed history of Hercules in the back here. Of course, that's no substitute for reading the real thing, but you should read that too. So, Herc, Definitely. Good book. Strongly recommended. If you've heard the buzz about Incredible Hercules but haven't felt like jumping on before, because ultimately, although there were a couple of relaunches, like they did the Hercules series ended with an event called Assault on New Olympus, which they really foolishly started with a one-shot, a Spider-Man Hercules one-shot just called Assault on New Olympus, which was the first part of the story, which then just carried on in the pages of Hercules. It was like an attempt to get people to pay attention to it and read it. Then the series ended 5 issues later. And they did a 2-issue Hercules Fallen of an Avenger, like funeral issue for him. And then they did the New Prince of Power 4-issue miniseries, and then they did Chaos War. So there hasn't been a perfect time to jump on Hercules with all of these status quo shifts that each of the new little minis have been bringing. But this is very much a fresh new start for Hercules. I mean, I can't imagine he'll be mortal forever. You know, he'll probably get his godliness back after a couple of years, or maybe a year. But definitely a very strong fresh start that you can come in pretty clean on, simply knowing that he is mortal now. And you know, if you've read anything else by Van Lente or Pack, and I would definitely think, you know, it's comics the way they used to be, from the Dan Slotts and the Jeff Parkers and the Fred Van Lentes of this world. So, well, you know, roundabout these parts, we always do like to encourage anybody to read anything they like.
Yeah. Yep. So, Fear itself.
Yeah.
Yay! There we go.
We've all read this. That's very exciting.
Yay! That's 2 weeks in a row now, right?
So,
1 second. My butt is numb.
Someone get him a butt massage or something.
McFeely's got a numb butt.
Nope. Triplet says pass. So, McFeely, why don't you take us through? There's so much going on, I can't.
I think
possibly-
McFeely
Why there's so
about
much
this.
going on. I'll tell you why. I counted. This is literally double-sized.
It's
You get
amazing.
40
Yeah.
44 story pages for your $4 here.
It's this. I'm amazed this was not 5.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Like, I almost have to take back all of the bad things I said, because this totally would have been like 5, and they made it 4, and I'm like, thank you.
And even then, like, this is more than you would have usually got from a $5 book on average. I mean, whenever a lot of the series shifted to $4, and you found I mean, they've stopped it now, but a lot of annuals went to being $4, $5, just because they had to be more than $3 to make them seem different from an issue of the ongoing. And I don't think you got this many pages from one of those stories. You know,
When
there
I
is a
picked this
ton
up-
of stuff.
When I picked this up, I'm like, oh my gosh, because you could fill it.
It is,
Just
yeah.
like, there's tons of ads. I thought it was going to be tons of ads.
Yeah.
There's
really?
very few ads in this.
I know. I was surprised how little ads they did have. This FF had tons of ads in it, but this one.
Well, FF was a 22 page, maybe 24 pages in FF. You know, there wasn't anything extra in there. There was just that legend at the back with
Yeah.
the who's who. Well, Fear itself. Now, on the whole, no, let's not actually go on the whole yet. Let's just walk through this.
Yeah. Yeah. Best to step
itself.
through here.
Matt Fraction on the writing, Stuart Immonen, who we love round about these parts, on the art.
He's awesome.
And of course, we
It's
focus
all-
on America, because that's what's most important.
Oh
yeah.
No.
We have a whole planet. America is most important. So,
It's, for some reason, it's always downtown New York.
I know. Unless you're watching Doctor Who, and then everything happens in London. But whatever.
London.
Well, the reason
Dark.
this takes place in downtown New York kind of goes back to my issue of Captain America .1. Just saying.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I mean that's like Brian's theory. He already told me about his theory about Fear itself. But I'll let you talk about it. Just talk about it, and then we'll talk about that.
Okay. Well, kicks off with Sharon Carter and Steve Rogers trying to help the local police keep calm an unruly crowd of protesters that are forming in the middle of New York over an issue which is craftily unstipulated, but is quite obviously supposed to evoke the Ground Zero quote-unquote mosque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really mention that. Like, it's one of those deals where it's like, you totally know what they're talking about, but yeah, they didn't, like,
but they
overtly
just didn't say it.
They've saved their behind for not mentioning it. So.
People in the Marvel Universe probably have more things to worry about than that.
Yeah.
I love it when they like ask Cap, what do you think about the issue? I'm against riots. That's
I'm anti-riot. Are you kidding me? And of course, everything goes to hell.
Yep. And he gets hit in the head, which is awesome.
Yeah, and that is like the moment that is
Yeah.
like the speedball blows up the boss of this one.
Yeah.
It is Captain America gets hit in the head with a brick.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you don't have your helmet now, do you, bitch?
Yeah, well, it probably wouldn't have done much good anyway.
Yeah.
So then, following that, we get the preview pages that we saw, and the definite proof that the Book of the Skull was pointless, in which Sin recaps the entirety of the Book of the Skull as they invade the magic Nazi super fortress full of immortal scientists kept alive by super science. To guard the hammer of Squall. They just mention it. Basically, it's the only way they can justify nobody in this fortress has been outside since it was built. They have to say, oh, they were kept alive by Nazi super science. Or the frozen hammer of Skadi, which fell from the sky as a result of the Thule Society's ritual lies. Skadi. This is the first time we've actually had it named in the course of Fear itself, but. That's, again, well, JD, I'm sure you could tell us that is a figure from Norse mythology who is, I believe she's the goddess of winter or frosts or something like that.
Now, keep in mind that Skadi is not of the Aesir, she is a Jotun, so she is not, she's not of the same lineage as, like, Odin and Thor. So Skadi's a separate lineage as far as that. She's a giantess.
Yeah. And Sin is worthy of the hammer and becomes, in a sense, becomes Skadi. She is still herself, but she is Skadi as well. And she says, "Father, you're next." And I love how that makes you think about one thing, but then it turns out as the stories goes on. Then we go back to the Avengers in New York, where they come to the rather disappointing conclusion that there was no supervillain influence caused that riot. That was just people being people. People suck.
What does that matter? I mean, it's a riot. I mean, God, the Red Skull's mind controlling people. We got to do something.
Oh man,
Avengers
you've got somebody to hit, you know?
Yeah.
Man, we really needed to hit somebody.
People are just being jerks. What do we hit now? Other people.
Yeah. That is kind of, that's the thing at the heart of Fear itself, is like, all of this is just fear. Genuine, not the product of a supervillain, good old-fashioned, honest human emotion and the inability to control it that is bubbling over. And what does a superhero do in that situation? What can a superhero do in that situation? Very little. Very little is the answer, and it's up to you take the super out of the man to take care of this. And I believe that it's been set up in recent issues of Invincible Iron Man that he has offered to help the Asgardians rebuild Asgard. And they arrange to announce this as a bit of just a cheer up world. You know, we're going to do something.
We're going to do something cool.
We're going to make jobs for Broxton by doing this. And,
so JD, like, okay, so this town in Oklahoma,
okay,
is going to rebuild Asgard. I want you to talk.
I've mentioned this a few times on the show, but if you're new to the show or you haven't heard me talk about this before, let me explain something. Broxton is not a city. Broxton is an intersection with a post office. Okay?
So you said they can't rebuild Asgard, is that what you're saying?
Let me put it this way. The next closest city, the next closest town, is my hometown, which is called Anadarko. Okay? The population of that city is 6,000. So they're talking about employing more people in this area than even live here. Okay? That would be like if they put every man, woman, and child to work trying to rebuild this city. Awesome. They might have enough people. And I'm just like, this, like, just the vision of Broxton with, like, these houses and the tree and stuff. It's just like, I don't know what... not even my hometown, like I said, which is near Broxton, looks like that. So I don't even know what. Like this welcome to Broxton, we don't even have a sign for Anadarko that's like that. Like,
Well, it looks like that sign is new. It says "neighbors to the gods" on there, so they probably just put that up.
Surely that's like added on, right? It's just,
obviously what you're missing is that tourism has gone up since Thor's.
Surely people want to live close to a giant smoldering god city.
Exactly.
So anyway,
come get your smoldering god city hat.
We were actually talking about this in my comic shop this week. I was talking with my shop owner, and we were just saying how incredibly ridiculous it's just. And it's like I said, I just have to say that this is the Marvel Universe, and in the Marvel Universe, Broxton is larger than any other town within 20 miles of it.
Yeah,
there you go.
Awesome.
I think that's so funny though.
I really, like, one of these weekends, I am going to drive to Broxton and take, like, pictures, and I will share them on the show, because it's too incredible.
We got a couple questions about Broxton. Cobra Commander TFW, do they have tumbleweed? And Cassius asks, you don't have Asgard next door either?
No, no, there is no Asgard there. There are no fucking mesas either, okay? It's goddamn flat. All right, it's Oklahoma, okay?
But what about the tumbleweed?
There's a lot of fucking dirt. There are no goddamn tumbleweeds. No fucking mesas.
Just dirt.
It's dirt. All right, Broxton is an intersection, people. There's like go Google Earth. All right, go to Google Earth, type in Broxton, all right, and take a look.
It's probably not worth it to get you started, but it's so much fun to get you started.
I'm telling you, I can get going, especially like this. I literally, again, people, I live not a mile from Broxton where I grew up, right? Like, it's right there. And there's nothing there.
Awesome.
So we go to Broxton in the comic, and
the Avengers have a press conference at the intersection to announce that they will be rebuilding Asgard. But Thor is a bit distracted by the fact that Odin is not here. And that's because Odin is watching everything from up above, being very grumpy and curmudgeonly and Odin-like.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to their stupid meeting anyway.
Sorry?
I didn't want to go to their stupid meeting anyway. That's what he's basically doing.
Me and the Ravens and Glepner are going to be up here.
And then the Watcher appears. And hey, it's the Watcher drawn properly this week.
Hey, like big-headed baby alien thing. Yay.
It doesn't look like the Kingpin this time.
No, definitely big-head baby alien thing.
And Odin really loses his rag at the Watcher because Odin has realized that Skadi has awakened and some final prophecy is at hand, and the Watcher's just sitting there, and Odin just bitches him out.
So Odin found out the truth about Broxton. That's what you're saying.
It's like, there's nothing here. It's just supposed to be an intersection.
Who are you to judge the All-Father? Am I to tremble at your appearance? Have you come to witness the breaking of worlds then in your morbid and cruel curiosity? Are you here to see a god die? And the Watcher's just like, whatever, man.
He turns away.
I'm watching.
Shout at me.
I'm the Watcher. I don't talk. It's
screaming into the ether. And Thor picks this moment to go, Dad, and it's like, don't fucking annoy me when I'm shouting into the wind.
Oh my God.
We get a rather awesome. The father puts the beat down on the son. Matt Fraction. The wonderful thing about Odin is that Odin's a wonderful thing. And his butt is made of spring. You can write Odin any number of ways because Odin is so very old within the Marvel Universe and just, in all of existence, and has died and come back so many times that there are so many different facets to Odin that if you need Odin to do something, if he needs to be magnanimous, he can be, or if he needs to be a stuck-up, pompous windbag with the power to back up his threats, he can be that as well. He is all these things in Norse mythology. That is the fluidity of myth and story. And this is a story where Odin's a bastard.
Yeah.
Of course, as does not really come to the fore because he doesn't let anybody see it himself because he is Odin. Odin is being this way because Odin is afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the idea at the very core of the thing, is what fear pushes us to do. But Thor basically chooses to side with man after Odin choke slams him into the ground and demands that he choose. And then he just, Thor chooses man, but Odin just goes, soft, and stokes.
I love the. Is that the part in the comic where he basically Thor attacks him with the hammer? And
no, that's later.
No, okay. Oh, that's awesome.
That's even more awesome. We go back to Sin and or Skadi, and it turns out that the father she was referring to was not the Red Skull, as you may have been led to believe, but as she fights her way through a gang of sea serpents guarding a seal at the bottom of the ocean, the father...
Those are some crazy sea serpents.
Yeah, they rather were little armies. He is unnamed at this point in the story, but Odin has referred to him as the Serpent, her father, Skadi's father, who identifies himself as the All-Father. And this is something that we've been hearing that is at the core of the Fear itself marketing and the story, which is that Odin may not be the All-Father. I don't exactly know how that works. And...
well, I mean,
have to see how that plays out. Honestly,
there's three possibilities. One of which I don't know what it is.
okay.
But I mean,
lay some Norse mythology down.
Based on Norse mythology, right? And it's
like
one possibility could be that it could be Ymir, right? Who was the previous ruling Jotun, right? He was the
Ymir is an established threat in the Marvel universe. So
okay, so that's out. Now, Bor, there's not a lot of mythology for, but Bor is
Odin's dad, right?
That's Odin's father.
Bor came back from the dead in the course of Straczynski's run, and Thor had to kill him.
Yeah, Thor killed him, yeah.
So then it's a third possibility that I have no idea.
Okay.
If it's saying that Scotty's father, I don't think there's a lot of information on Scotty's father, but he would be a giant. I mean, he would be.
Doesn't this guy look like a skinny Odin or something? Didn't he look like a skinny Odin or something in the comic?
He looks like he's an old version.
He's an old I'm skinny Odin or something.
He looks like Father Time.
Brothers.
He reminds like Father Time.
Hang on, I'm just looking something up because what is the name of her? No, Skadi's father in Norse mythology is Thiazi, or Thiassi is the character's name.
Okay.
I heard somebody note that he has appeared in some capacity in the Marvel Universe before. So I'm leaning probably more to the notion that this is not him and that this is somebody else again. The fact that he is not named is clearly quite deliberate, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
If this was supposed to be a recognizable figure from Norse myth, I don't know why they would dance around it. Because dramatically revealing his name will mean nothing to most people.
Right.
So I think that this is kind of secondary to the whole thing, and we'll find out as we go along, obviously.
He does have a sword and a staff, though. Interesting. Okay.
Well, yeah, he's leaning on a stick, anyway.
Yeah.
He's old.
So, following the press conference, the Avengers start a bit of the old feasting and drinking, and well, somebody's probably doing a bit of wenching in there somewhere with the Asgardians in the ruins. When Heimdall gets a vision of Volstagg, you can't go wrong with Volstagg and the Avengers. Imagine it, Stephen, with your mind.
Yeah, big guy. I got it.
I can't not imagine Odin as Volstagg as Brian Blessed, So that's the way to fly, my Hawkman. I'm still bent out of shape that he's not playing him in the film. Anyway, Heimdall has a vision of the serpent's return. And, Thor's saying, get a hold of yourself. But Odin basically steps in and goes, no, he's right. Come on, let's go.
Peace out, bitches.
No,
we believe in. Good luck, Earth.
No standing on ceremony with the way Fraction is writing Odin right now, which is very much in line with what we've seen him doing with Odin in what limited space we have seen him doing anything with Odin over in the in Fraction's Thor title. I mean, Fraction said that he brought Odin back in that story to specifically reignite this aspect of Odin and this conflict with Thor, which is obviously very much at the heart of this storyline. You know, so Odin basically comes in and says, "We're going." And
Pick up your hammer. We're going home. Just do it.
I will turn this car right around.
I will turn this dimension completely around. We will go home.
Thor just puts a hand on his dad's shoulder for a moment, and then Odin just backhands him right the way across the I don't know, the cliff edge they're standing on. Everybody's like, "Oh, snap!" from the sideline. They all know well enough to stand back as Thor. Oh, and it's gorgeous.
It's like a schoolyard fight. Oh, everyone's got to see what's going on, you know?
Yeah, totally. I mean, Thor gets in there with a gorgeous piece of art with the hammer up, nails Odin across the chin, and is like, you know, you storm around barking orders and expect us to chase after you like animals. Thor gets the hammer powered up, and then Odin just goes, "Mjolnir, drop."
Awesome.
Hammer, yes, Odin giveth, and Odin taketh away.
Yeah.
And then it becomes hand to hand. Then at that point, with Thor lost himself in his anger and is very quickly
smacks him around with Gleipnir.
Sorry,
Gleipnir smacks him around a little bit with the
spear. I wouldn't know the name of the spear offhand.
Wow, I'm that nerd, aren't I? I'm that guy, aren't I? Come on, Loki gave it to him. It was a gift.
Yes, he did, but I just didn't know how to pronounce it.
I just take a guess.
Think there's more N's and G's in there. Anyway, so you know, Thor beats Odin beats Thor down, and the others Guardians are basically like, "Yeah, all right then." Despite Steve's incredulence, like, "What the hell is going on? You're not just leaving." Well, apparently we are. And he marches them to the base of the World Tree. We saw the World Tree re-established in that utterly incomprehensible ending to Fraction's first Thor arc last week. And Odin opens Heimdall opens the Rainbow Bridge at Asgard's return, and they return to Asgard space. So I think that we're moving towards a pretty predictable re-establishment of Asgard in its own dimension sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that Stark is going to help rebuild, didn't mention this, but Odin is basically going, I could snap my fingers and I could rebuild Asgard. And it's like, it is, you know, he's got no comprehension of what this is all about.
Odin was like, why are we doing this? You know, why? It's like, we're gods, you know, we're living with mortals. We're gods.
But that's part of what he resents about the whole thing about having to rely on humans as well. So I'm sure if he wants to, he'll just rebuild Asgard now, back in Asgard space, and the gods leave, and that's it. And our issue concludes with Skadi and her father riding on the snouts of sea serpents, walking across the ocean, as whoever he is, as the serpent. Not the sea serpent, but her dad, the serpent. That's what they're calling him. Knows that Odin knows, and he begins his summons of this thing that we've heard of, the Worthy, as 7 streaks of light come from the depths.
Autobots come crashing to the earth.
That's exactly what I thought.
God, this is like 1,000 times greater than Armageddon.
It's like 1,000 times bigger than Secret Invasion.
It always goes back to Transformers, doesn't it?
All around here. And they all land in various spots around the Earth, including not very far outside Broxton, so obviously that's where the subject will pick up
I love
next.
it. They have like Manhattan and Brazil and China and then Broxton.
Yeah. Yeah. Broxton. Well, but it harkens back to a moment earlier where one of the guys was like leaving town, and for some reason he's going to Wichita instead of Oklahoma City, because, you know, you have to go all the way to fucking Kansas.
He lost his job at the house. He's got to find him some work, and he makes the comment that, hey, you know, we're all going to have work because we're going to rebuild Asgard. He says, well, they should have rebuilt my house or got me my house back before now or something. You know?
He tells him to
Possess your
start
house.
locking his doors as he
Yes.
leaves because he knows bad things are happening, which they don't do in Broxton because only one person lives there.
Yes,
And he
exactly.
But as this father takes his son inside as they watch the light fall from the sky, he locks the door because bad things become.
Because if you lock your door, everything's safe. No one
That's
can
right.
get in.
That's right.
Yeah. And that is where we leave things. The gods are gone, and humanity is on its own.
Yeah,
that
even
was more
Cap
of a
says like the
summary
gods
for
have
the-
left us and we're on our own, right? Isn't that
yep.
the last page or something?
Yep.
So like this goes to what Brian was telling me, and I kind of talked to him through Messenger about this, and he said that he thinks this is the series that leads Cap back to being Cap.
Well, I think Cap will be Cap again before this is over.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Because this when would this end? I mean, is this like is this monthly or is it going to be?
Yeah, this is monthly, and it's 7 issues. So,
Because I mean,
what
don't they
is
need a big arcing story to lead him to be Cap again, so that he's Cap when the movie comes out?
That's
You
gonna say
Yeah, but
he'll be
we'll
capped
be-
before the movie comes out.
Yeah. Because the
well,
movie
not
comes
maybe
out in
before
July.
the movie comes out. There's only 2 more issues of Cap
Yeah,
before
but-
the movie comes out. This
also
won't be over
he-
till October.
Also, this doesn't have to end with him being Cap. I mean, he could become Cap in like the next couple issues. or
Oh yeah,
something.
well I mean this there's definitely some interlinking stuff at work here. I'm sure that events of this will probably influence whatever's going on in this
I
title.
mean, I wasn't thinking about that, but Brian, you just kind of pointed out,
Oh, I would definitely.
the title of the book is Fear itself, and
World War II reference. Is that?
Yeah.
But I mean, this seems much more to do with like the Norse mythology than.
yeah, it seems like a Thor.
I like it though. I like it.
Oh yeah.
So far, I'm hooked. I like it. So
Yeah, I mean, this comic will not blow your mind.
no.
It is just a very solid first issue.
It's
The
good.
art might blow your
Beautiful
mind.
art.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
art.
the art
Lover's
is really good.
feminine around here, he is a big draw. I mean, the simple fact, and I don't want to be that guy, and I try not to be that guy, but I do find myself saying that the simple fact that it's not Bendis is enough to pique more interest in me, and I would say in a lot of people, than if it was just another Bendis crossover again.
Yeah.
It's just out of the last 7 or so years, this is an unconventional creative team for a major crossover, even though they're big name creators in their own right. The issue runs the risk of being nearly all set up, but it manages to avoid it by having those completely bitchin' fights between Thor and Odin. And
That was awesome. That was so much fun.
Mono drop.
I mean, as it ends, basically what we have got out of it is very much all set up. The idea that, fear and unrest are shaking society just as a result of the way the world is right now. The villain is loose and on the way. The gods have left, and there's worse stuff coming. The villain puts the opening stages of his plan into motion. It is all putting the pieces in place for the kicking off of the story, but the issue manages to avoid being purely set up by having some true badassitude in the form of those fights.
Oh,
Which are
Andy's
some of the most
asking
beautiful
how
parts of
many
the book.
tie-ins there are.
Lots.
Do you know? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Too many.
They're not like, Flashpoint style.
No, it's
Right.
not. To be honest, probably by the end of it all, there will be that many minis, but they have at least staggered their release. And it's off the top of my head. There's the Homefront. Now that came out this week. I'm not going to talk about it, but I've heard some middling to negative reviews on it. Honestly, I really quite enjoyed it. Christos Gage writes a really good speedball tale that follows up. Well, it's in tone with what he's been doing with Speedball and Avengers Academy, and just to digress for a moment and talk about this, one of Christos Gage's great strengths, I've always thought, and I thought it was always really evident with Avengers Academy, is his stories are able to take all the punches that are thrown at them by editorial and by the direction of the Marvel Universe. Avengers The Initiative was a book that only existed by the whims of the status quo of the Marvel Universe, and whenever the Initiative went away, it went away too, and Avengers Academy replaced it. But with all of the big things that happened throughout the course of it, like Secret Invasion happening or Dark Reign happening, the core, what was at the core of the initiative constantly was changing, and he was able to tell stories that made it feel like it had always been planned to go that way. His stories always rolled with the punches they were thrown, and they were always very respectful of the continuity of everything around them without being burdened by it. He was able to tell really good things in defiance of what he was being shoveled on top of him. And so this one is a great exploration of Speedball and how he's still trying to atone for the Civil War. And this is the book that is bothering to acknowledge all of those ugly little leftover things that frankly everybody was glad to see the back of after Civil War ended, because not Civil War, but just the whole initiative area, the whole initiative era. This is the book that explores the ramifications of the Registration Act being repealed and the initiative being disbanded, and things like that. It's got Miriam Sharp in it, the mother of that little boy who died, who was such a bitch during Civil War. She's in this, and it's just it's a bit grim, and it's also but it's also told through the really fascinating filter of social media, where the whole book is narrated and bracketed by people having exchanges through Twitter and Facebook about the current state of affairs and where Speedball is, and it just gets more and more urgent as towards the end of the first chapter you find out Speedball is in Stamford, and it's all these excited tweets. Oh, dude, I'm so going down there now. Oh, LOL, better get here sooner, there won't be much left of him. Stuff like that.
Oh, God.
It's a very interesting prism for the story. Would work without it, but it's just an interesting prism for the thing to be filtered through. There's also an Agents of Atlas story by Peter Milligan that, quite frankly, misses the point of the Agents of Atlas that I didn't dig too much. That's because I'm too close to the Agents after following their series for Jonah. Changes a bunch of stuff. I didn't think too much of it. A nice short with J. Jonah Jameson, and a heartwarming little backup with some of the old folks of Broxton who are like, oh, tourists, oh, gods, whatever, I still have to pay my bills. So, I've seen some negative reviews or middling reviews of the Homefront, but I really quite enjoyed it. Anyway, so there's a Homefront. That's one of the tie-ins. There's also a Spidey miniseries, the Deadpool miniseries coming up. There's the She-Hulk, Howard the Duck, Man-Thing, Frankenstein.
Is that a tie-in to it?
Yes, that is. It is, yeah.
Huh.
The
Okay.
Fearsome Foursome, I think it's called. There's a Doctor Strange Namor mini called The Deep, and I think that might be all of the tie-in minis that have been announced. But of course, there are already announced crossovers within the pages of Herc and Alpha Flight's kicking off with the tie-in, and of course, all the Avengers books and Journey into Mystery as well.
Nice.
So yeah, to answer that question, to digress briefly.
But so far, I mean, I like it. I mean, like we said, it's not blow you away amazing. It's not, it's not issue 23 Brightest Day, but it's pretty.
It's good, but there's
good.
no Swamp Thing.
There's no Swamp Thing. I'm sorry. For those of you that were hoping this would be the reintroduction of Swamp Thing into Marvel, no.
It's just very soft.
It needs Man-Thing. Oh my God! If it had Man-Thing, that'd be awesome.
There you go.
Well, that's what the She-Hulk, Howard the Duck, Man-Thing, Frankenstein miniseries is going to be.
Well, there you go. It's
even a but the concept of fear.
Man-Thing's got to show up at the end of an issue of Fear itself.
Go read some Garbage Man if you're wanting to see Swamp Thing.
Read the thing that actually has Swamp Thing in it.
Awesome. Well, I'm not
XP.
So there you go. Fear Itself, book 1. If you didn't get it, go pick it up. Good stuff.
Book, but just manages to avoid being all set up, but perfectly solid comic that looks to set the stage for what I would say definitely one, perhaps the Marvel crossover out of the last 6 or 7 years that runs the chance of actually being genuinely good and not just serviceable at best.
Oh, please, God.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's it. That's the show. Want to remind everybody, go check out CNI, Comic News International. That's where we got most of the news for this show today. I mean, hey, so, that's a great place to go check it out. I occasionally post the show there. I'm seriously going to get and figure out how to do that because I wiped my computer and lost all my stuff. But anyway, so again, if you don't know, we record this show live every Sunday at 3:30 Central Time. That's going to be 4:30 Pacific. That's going to be 2:30 Mountain Time. That's going to be, what time is it? Greenwich Mean?
Half night.
That is
So,
4:30 Eastern
night.
Standard Time.
4:30 Eastern. So all of those great times. Come please join us. tfradio.net/live. We'd love to have you come join us. We obviously, as a part of this show, you can see we answer questions, we interact with our chat room. We love to do that. So please come join us. If not, of course, you can download the show from iTunes. You can download us from the website at tfradio.net. Find us on all your favorite podcast trackers. So check those out as well as all of the great shows on the TF Radio Network, which includes Radio Free Cybertron, Superhero Time, New Soundwave if you like video games. There you go.
And who doesn't?
Some people.
Some people. I don't want to know those people.
But, okay. So anyway, so that's it. That's the show. And again, please tune in next time when it'll be Fanboy Versus.
This has been Fanboy Versus with your hosts, J.D. Church, Ender, Chris Triplett, Chris McFeely, and Brian Kilby. Visit us at tfradio.net for show notes and to subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on Twitter at tfradio for news and updates. Copyright 2010 Radio Free Cybertron.